Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan that has reached the levels of the god during his lifetime and focused on training and fighting his entire life. Ben 10, the young man who went from being a 10-year-old who found an alien watch to being a worldwide superhero that has over 50 different aliens that's being shown on screen, with each alien having a completely different moveset. If these two were to fight, who would win between these two powerhouses? This video is a bit of a passion project, you could say, considering how much time and effort I put into it. But yeah, for this video, I'll be using a composite Ben from the Prime universe, meaning he'll have access to his canon ultimate forms from the Ultimate Alien years and has some of his Omniverse aliens. I won't be including the reboot aliens though, since I'm unfamiliar on the reboot scaling side of things. For Goku, I'll be mainly using Goku from the Dragon Ball Super anime and the manga. I will be going over each character's stats. I will leave a timestamp for each character's stats down below if you just want to jump straight to Goku's or Ben's stats. I will be mainly going over Goku first, then I'll be going over Ben. In the Battle of the Gods arc, while fighting Beerus, Goku as a Super Saiyan God was able to threaten the 7th universe. With Super Saiyan God, Goku was able to match Beerus' punches to try and cancel out the output. Because of this, we would need to try and figure out the Universe 7 cosmology, because that obviously scales to Goku's overall AP. The living universe has been described as ever expanding, has been described as a separate universe, and infinitely expanding, with the universe being described to have countless galaxies, which is backed up by guidebooks and different sources saying something similar. You might be able to argue against this idea of the living universe being infinite size, you being able to say that they mean infinite by large, or you could potentially debunk the infinite universe guidebook statements by using in-universe statements from characters like Bulma saying there's an edge to the universe. Though I will link a video down below explaining why you could argue infinite universes have edges. The other world, or heaven, if you want to call it that, is said to be a separate space-time, to be infinite in size by guidebooks and so on, and is considered to be dimensionally transcendent in comparison to the normal main living universe. That was stated quite a few times by guidebooks. The afterlife was stated to be and implied to be have no concept of time and compared to Earth. Hell is described to be larger than heaven. The end realm is considered to be around the same size as the other world. The Kaioshin realm is considered to be a separate space-time going off of guidebooks, and it's kind of implied by the model of Universe 7 as well. This realm actually encompasses heaven, so it's larger than heaven and hell. There's also the room of spirit and time. The one on Earth has been described to be either the size of Earth, both in the anime and manga, or is described to have endless space. There's also 4 different timelines going off of Daizenshuu 7, but going off of Dragon Ball video games, there's supposedly an endless amount of worlds or timelines, in other words. The Dragon Ball universe goes off of the many worlds interpretation, or MWI for short, when it comes to time travel. So each different timeline is its own, separate universe, in other words. You might be able to make an argument saying that GT is canon to a certain extent, going off of the Dragon Ball GT DVD box, Dragon Ball GT Dragon Ball book in June of 2005. The fact that Toriyama helped with the animation production for GT, Koyama and Twitter practically confirming it's the official sequel to the anime, and official Dragon Ball exhibits showing the timeline. The reason why I bring up GT is due to the fact that it introduces things like the Tsukuroki space. The exact size of this space is unknown, but we just know it's its own space-time. This means Goku as a Super Saiyan God during this time period is anywhere from low multiversal at least to 5th dimensional low complex multiversal at the very top. Goku also got hundreds, thousands, if not millions of times stronger since then via training, Zenkai boosts, and transformations, possibly reaching the multiversal to five-dimensional ranges, even gaining the Super Saiyan Blue transformation during the Resurrection of F saga, which Goku did explain in the anime that the transformation has the power of a Super Saiyan God as a Super Saiyan, and doubt the fact that it was said in the anime that Goku absorbed the Super Saiyan God power into his base form and later surpassed it as well. It being described by Beerus that Goku made this power his own. During the Tournament Power arc, Goku unlocked the Ultra Instinct's Omen and mastered Ultra Instinct's forms, or UI and MUI for short. UI as a concept is where your body is basically separated from consciousness, allowing someone to dodge attacks without even bothering to think. UI and MUI Goku was so powerful that he could be considered so strong they can beat Beerus in a fight, and was stated to surpass the God's destructions in general, with MUI Goku being shown in the anime and the manga to beat the ever-living shit out of Jiren. Jiren himself has a shit ton of statements in manga, in the anime, and guidebooks outright saying or implying that Jiren is stronger than Beerus and or the God's destructions in general. Beerus is able to be scaled to the universe-destroying feat I mentioned during the Battle of the Gods arc. Jiren also shook the World Void as well as UI Goku, and the World Void being described as filled with nothingness. In the Moro arc, MUI Goku eventually was able to defeat Moro, Goku himself saying that Moro is the toughest opponent he came across during that time period, with UI Goku earlier on in the arc wondering what his body is made out of, with Android 18 asking something similar even though she saw a full-powered Jiren while fighting against MUI Goku back in Tournament Power. The toughest opponent statement can be taken a lot of ways. One interpretation is that Moro is the most durable or the most, powerful overall. Granola, when he was the main bad guy of his arc, was considered the strongest mortal in Universe 7 at the time, with Toritoro stating pretty early in the arc that Goku and Vegeta were inferior. Granola was later replaced by the Mighty Gas in terms of who's strongest, so Gas was basically one-shotted by Black Frieza. But thanks to the Granola arc, Goku achieved the form of True Ultra Instincts, which is an emotionally driven variation of the Ultra Instinct's Omen form, and is basically a stronger version of the UI forms for Goku. In terms of speed, Goku, due to the fact that the shockwaves during the Beerus fight can be scaled to quadrillions of times the speed of light, and considering the Super Saiyan multipliers, he would just get faster and faster. Super Saiyan being 50 times space, and Super Saiyan 3, for example, being 400 times space. Plus, you can make an argument saying that Super Goku has infinite speed due to the fact that during the end of the Goku Black arc, he was shown moving in an erased time where time practically didn't exist after Zeno erased that time period. In terms of abilities, he has just straight up key manipulation. Due to this key manipulation, he is able to shoot out projectiles, even some key blasts being able to casually destroy planets and stars, like the time Beerus one time sneezed and shot out the key blast, destroyed a nearby planet. Key manipulation can also create barriers and do a whole load of other things. Due to its key manipulation, Goku can perform techniques such as the Kamehameha, the Spirit Bomb, and so on and so forth. Not to mention, he has a form of teleportation via the instant transmission, and thanks to Zenkai boosts, he and other Saiyans would just get stronger and stronger after recovering from the brink of death. He also was shown to fly and has shown to use telepathy several times throughout the series, plus he has some sort of resistance to hacks abilities if he's relative, if not stronger, to his opponent. For example, during the hit fight in the Universe 6 and 7 tournaments, Goku was shown negating its time skip. In the manga, it was shown that God Goku was negating his time skip due to his sheer power, while in the anime, it was shown that Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku was doing the same thing. When it comes to Goku's battle IQ and overall skill, as a kid alone, he was shown to be able to perform the Kamehameha after only seeing it once, and did something similar to Roshi's after image technique. During this time period, he supposedly had no opening to his guard while fighting. He obviously became a better martial artist since then. It also took a year to learn the Kaioken, all while on a planet multiple times the gravity of Earth. The Kaioken is a technique that boosts the strength and speed of a person by a certain amount. Technically, it has no limit, but it just depends whether or not your body can handle it. Goku's able to push this to up to 20 times, shown in Z and Super. 100 times, going off of the movies, aka Lord Slug. He was being shown to utilize Hakai while fighting Murder Samasu in the manga, which is a technique that can destroy someone down to their very soul. He was actually able to outskill trained assassins as a kid, and can overall just see someone's weak points. He was also shown fighting characters like Piccolo, specifically Piccolo Jr., who has the ability to stretch his limbs and grow multiple times his own height. So overall, Goku has low multiversal to 5-dimensional attack potency and durability, with techniques being able to help Goku boost his overall stats and move without thinking thanks to Kaioken and Ultra Instinct techniques, with battle IQ and overall skill of masters and surpassing certain masters. He has a general speed range around MFDL plus to infinite. If you want to debate the infinite speed tier, then go ahead. If you don't know what infinite speed means, it basically means that someone can move a finite distance in zero time or move an infinite distance in finite time. Now let's move on to Tennyson. Ben has a large arsenal of aliens within his Omnitrix, each having a different purpose, whether it's small or large difference. Each one having a completely different moveset, making each alien a threat to his enemies in their own different ways. Because of this, Ben has a large amount of aliens. I won't mention every single alien he has due to the amount there is, at least the amount that has been shown on screen. When it comes to Ben's original series aliens, they are still relatively powerful in their own right. During that one episode of the original series where Ben reverted to a toddler while fighting Hex, as Heat Blast, he set off an explosion that cratered the ground underneath him and collapsed the cave containing the Fountain of Youth. This feat has been calculated to have an energy output of around 551 tons of TNT of energy output, or that would scale to multi-city block level plus, with some people getting it to small town level. Heat Blast, when he gained his 10-year-old self again, was able to defeat Sam and was able to basically stop a storm, which has been calculated to have an energy output of ranging from 1.6 to 16.4 gigatons when it comes to the SAM feat, and 44.3 megatons when it comes to the storm feat, with Diamond Head in Omniverse being shown to be flown from Galvin Prime to its moon and was shown just getting up right after. Depending on what you want to say Diamond Head is made out of, the energy he should have tanked can range from 37 megatons to 14.7 zetatons. Even the gigantic drone Diamond Head defeated at the start of the series tanked the kinetic energy of falling out of the sky, basically, which would be around the 7.24 megaton range. Aliens like Ben's Armadillo have been said by Cartoon Network magazines to reduce mountains to rubbles. Depending on the mountain you want to use as reference, you could say the energy output is anywhere from 1.18 to 30.48 gigatons. Going off of Word of God, Armadillo can trigger magnitude 10 earthquakes, though it's not through sheer strength, it's only if he's at the right place at the right time. With water hazard species being cited by the same Cartoon Network magazine that they destroyed their home planet, which has been calculated to be around 2.55 gigatons in terms of energy output. Ben's Big Chill froze the Void's fortress, the furnace powering him, and a drill that's drilling holes between dimensions, making it snow in a null void. Others and I can scale this feat anywhere from country to moon level, depending if you want to say the null void is anywhere from the size of Earth to the size of Jupiter. The ultimate forms Ben has access to during Ultimate Alien are very potent to say the least. All of these forms making the pre-existing aliens much more powerful, whether that's emptying their physical strength or the extent of their abilities. An example of this, you know, fact is the fact that Ultimate Humongosaur was able to survive multiple slashes from Sir George's Ascalon. This is the same sword that destroyed a planet with 701.6 nanotons of TNT or dwarf star levels of force. The Dagon was also able to survive slashes from the sword. When it comes to Banon's stronger aliens during this time period, a base way big was stated by Word of God that he can destroy planets and was shown to overpower the Conquest Ray and strategic ship that has Conquest Ray. This Conquest Ray can basically obliterate planets as well, with Ray Big and other Toka stars being able to summon cosmic storms. It was pointed out by a subscriber on mine on Discord that you could scale way big and over Tosca stars anywhere from the galaxy to multi-galaxy levels, since cosmic storms can potentially cause galaxies to collide, with Ultimate Way Big being far superior to his base, considering that the ultimate forms give an app, as I mentioned before. There are also some of Ben's Omniverse aliens, some of the stronger ones. Gravitac, for example, is able to manipulate gravity to his will, claiming he can apply 40 Gs of pressure. For reference, the gravity we normally have on Earth is 1 G. Gravitac was shown using this ability to increase the gravity of the Time Beast, producing a black hole that was shown to quickly consume a city later on. But now, on to Ben's strongest alien, Alien X. One of Alien X's most infamous feats is the time he tanked the destruction of the universe and recreated said universe. The reason why the universe was destroyed is due to the fact that the Annihilarg, Alien X, not really flinching it. It was said that the Quantumania had to make a force field from the upcoming detonation of the Annihilarg, the Quantumania being five-dimensional beings. These five-dimensional beings also finding the force field to be impossible to break. Even a sword formed from Alien X's Celestial Sapien DNA was capable of cutting through the Quantumania's force fields. This alone is already relative to Goku's higher end scaling. In Omniverse, it was stated that, well, by Professor Paradox, that the Chrono Navigator is capable of destroying all of existence if misused. It was stated that the Ben 10 verse has 26 spiritual and temporal dimensions going off to 9 gens, and implied that there are higher spatial and temporal dimensions by Paradox, since there are things like string theory involved with the cosmology of the verse. The fundamentals of string theory based itself on two 20th century frameworks for formulating the laws of physics, that being Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity and quantum mechanics, which is a completely different formula. String theory is also a theoretical framework in which the point-like particles of particle physics are replaced by one-dimensional objects called strings. It's also described how these strings propagate through space and interact with each other on distance scales larger than the string scale. A string looks just like an ordinary particle with its mass, charge, and other properties determined by the state of the string. Since string theory involves the theory of relativity and quantum mechanics, I'll briefly explain them. Einstein's 1915 general theory of relativity holds what we perceive as the force of gravity arises from the curvature of space and time. This general theory of relativity also has three laws to it. Law number one being the laws of physics are identical in all non-accelerating frames. Two, the vacuum of the speed of light is the same for all initial frames. And lastly, law 3, the total energy of a body in mass and momentum is given by the formula on screen. While quantum mechanics, on the other hand, is a physics theory that provides a description of the physical properties of nature at the scale of atoms and subatomic particles. Quantum mechanics is considered to be one of the hardest theories in all of physics. There being videos regarding the subject that are 56 minutes long, so basically an hour. That's how complicated it is. Those videos also regarding it as a brief explanation on its history and everything. Typically, the theory cannot predict with certainty that what will happen, but only provides probabilities. Probability amplitudes are calculated mathematically by taking the square root of the absolute value of a complex number. A physicist named Max Born came up with this rule. A quantum particle, such as an electron, can be described by a wave function with associated a probability amplitude to each point in space. When these amplitudes are applied to the Born rule, a probability density function can be calculated for the position that the electron will be found in during a measurement. This is the best the theory can do. It cannot predict where the electron will be found with certainty. In the Schrödinger equation, probability amplitudes at one moment of time are related to probability amplitudes at another point of time. I can go on, but you basically get the idea. The map of infinity is a complete map of spacetime and exceeds through 17 different spatial and temporal dimensions. The reason I'm bringing up the Chrono Navigator is that Professor Paradox called Celestial Sapiens omnipotent several times and says they have the greatest power in the universe, even though he's aware of the Chrono Navigator and the power it possesses when misused. So I doubt the Celestial Sapiens are actually omnipotent, due to the fact that, according to Word of God, i.e., Man of Action, and people who worked on the series, Celestial Sapiens nowhere near reach omnipotent. In terms of speed, the original series alone, Ben was able to use Accelerate to move so fast that he can move and react to spaceballs at his speed, where everyone and everything was able to basically be seen as slow motion for him, which is a feat calculated to be around Mach 356, which, in other words, is a massively hypersonic speed feat. Accelerate also has been shown to react to beams of light, which that alone has been calculated to be relativistic. When Ben is using Jet Ray, he can enter hyperspace via sheer speed alone, which would need faster than light levels of travel speed to accomplish, basically. Jet Ray was also shown matching Vilgax in terms of speed. Vilgax, as well as Chromostone, Ben's other alien, was able to fly at a speed clocking in at 23.8 billion times the speed of light, going off calculations. In terms of Ben's abilities, it can range depending on the alien he's using at the time. Aliens like Heat Blasts and Swampire, for example, having fire-related abilities, being able to just manipulate fire as their own will and even create it. Clockwork and Alien Axe having time-related abilities, being able to stop time, rewind time, forward time, stop time and rewind time in specific areas, yada yada yada. Big Chill having ice-related abilities, with many of Ben's aliens, Jet Ray, the previously mentioned Big Chill, Stinkfly, and so on having the ability to fly. The previously mentioned Big Chill as well, having the ability to phase through anything really, objects, people, etc. aliens like Chromastone and Feedback having the ability to absorb energy, since Chromastone absorbed the energy produced by the Dagon and Feedback absorbed the energy of the Big Bang. Aliens like Blitzwolf and Echo Echo having the ability to basically use sound manipulation and can just amp sound to the point where it can hurt people. Alien X also having reality warping abilities, mind manipulation, and so on. Multiple of Ben's aliens are able to clone themselves. Toothpick, an Omniverse alien, has a form of fear manipulation, since if someone sees the alien's real face, they will just they will just fall under Toothpick's fear manipulation. Water Hazard and several other aliens having the ability of water manipulation, and Gravitac having gravity manipulation abilities. When it comes to Ben's Omnitrix, by the time of Alien Force alone, it has well over 1 million different species with master control alone, allowing Ben to use them all.
Access master control.
Master control unlocked. Everything's unlocked? How many aliens can I turn into? 1,903 genetic samples available.
The Omnitrix's menus are arranged in sets of 10 for simplicity's sake. But with voice command, you can...
Got it.
It also has multiple different modes. The green mode meaning it's in its activation mode, which allows Ben to transform into any of his different aliens. There's also the Omnitrix's red mode, which is basically just a recharge mode, the yellow scanning mode, the orange self-destruction mode, and several other different ones. There are also several different failsafes and safeguards. The Omnitrix has a failsafe and safeguards for almost anything. The second Omnitrix and Omniverse somehow reverses the Annihilarg, which was meant to create an entirely new universe in the creator's image, with it being contained in his hands of every alien before landing on Feedback. The second Omnitrix is able to react to the speed of the Big Bang as well, which has been calculated to be around 55 udacillion times the speed of light. If you don't know how big that number is, a single decillion is followed by a lot of zeros, like 72 zeros to be exact. Ben is also a rather smart person, especially in terms of overall IQ and compared to Goku. Being able to pass a chemistry exam despite having only a few minutes to study, and the same subject being his worst subject overall in school. His IQ would also increase while using aliens like Brainstorm, who supposedly has an IQ of around 1 million or around that, while Ben's Kick and Hawk is a master at hand-to-hand combat, being Ben's best hand-to-hand fighter in close fights, and Ben himself has shown to practice some form of martial arts thanks to Gwen. Meaning, overall, thanks to Ben's strongest alien, Alien X, Ben can be scaled around 26-dimensional at the high end, which translates to hyperversal, with the majority of his aliens ranging from the island to planetary marks with MFDO plus levels of speed. You could potentially make an argument saying that Alien X has infinite speed as well. So, who would win in this battle in conclusion? Well, Goku definitely has the overall better scaling in comparison to Ben's aliens, like the majority of them anyway. Besides Alien X, the majority of Ben's aliens, the stronger ones anyway, would range from first form freeze level to late Boo Saga level. This fight mainly just boils down to who you think would win, Alien X or Goku. And as I mentioned prior, Alien X can just range anywhere from 5-dimensional to 26-dimensional. The low end 5D scaling of Alien X would already give the high end Goku scaling a lot of trouble, and the 26-dimensional scaling for Alien X would just be completely overkill. You might be able to say that Clockwork's time manipulation would have a chance of beating Goku, since Clockwork could just age Goku to the point of reducing him to dust or whatever. But Goku has fought characters like Hit who have time manipulation and actually have negated those abilities, as I mentioned before, due to his overwhelming strength. So there's very little to no chance those powers would work against Goku, considering things like that. The only chance Ben would have against Goku when if he wanted to beat Goku, just knock him out or kill him or whatever, is transforming into Alien X. And due to Goku's personality of wanting to fight people at their strongest, people might be able to argue that he would let Ben transform into Alien X, since people tend to think that Goku would let every opponent power up to their max. Though Goku actually has a history of fighting people without letting them power up to their max. For example, Goku and Piccolo ganging up on Raditz, Goku didn't mean of letting Vegeta turn into a great ape, etc. He just wanted to defeat Vegeta right off the bat. Plus, Ben also has a history of underestimating his opponents and just being overall cocky. Though if both characters were bloodlusted off the bat, Goku would have a hard time killing Ben due to his failsafes. Not to say that Ben can't die in battle, Ben has actually shown to die due to unnatural means, i.e., the time Charm Master took Ben's soul to revive her father. To sum up my points, Goku is definitely stronger than the majority of Ben's aliens, but Goku would likely lose either if Ben is bloodlusted or just takes the fight seriously right off the bat, or Goku does let Ben use Alien X. But Ben would definitely lose if Goku finds a way around the failsafes before Ben could transform into Alien X. The Hakai might be able to kill Ben and get around these failsafes, and considering its soul erasing properties. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you disagree with me, you can explain why in the comments. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, as I said. And yeah, see ya.